Welcome to Unleash the Network podcast, a podcast that aims to inspire and educate our listeners by sharing stories from Mastercard Foundation Scholars and African Leadership Academy alumni who have gone on to make a positive impact in their communities and promote the values of leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Godfrey, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
How have you been?
So far, I've been well. I've been well.
You're doing a very interesting project, and can you tell us how you started it and what got you into it?
I am doing a project in piggery farming, and to be specific, that's a piggery project that I started way back in 2021, around July. I simply started with 5 piglets. In those piglets, I just had to begin with 4 females, and then I had 1 male. And interestingly, when I was beginning, of course, I had to take keen interest in selecting a breed. Just know, when you're beginning this piggery farming, you don't have to just go anywhere. You have to take an interest in being interested in selecting a breed that will yield you much in a short run. Of course, it's something that is expensive to begin. It requires adequate capital. Of course, first and foremost, you ought to buy the pigs themselves. Then you have to erect a structure, and a good structure that can contain these piglets. So I simply began with 5. I had to first purchase the piglets, and I began with 2 breeds, and particularly I began with Cambrav and then White Large. And on one interesting thing with the breed, I decided to begin with on the side of the male, the boa. I had to do a mixed breed whereby I got the one which is having both Cambrav and then White Large. And that is to help me boost my breed. And then I had to get the females, which are White Large particularly, such that at the end of it all, I have good breeds that will pop out. So what interested me in this kind of project is that, first and foremost, I surveyed around my area where I come from, particularly here in Uganda. I come from a district called Kumi district, which is now a municipality. Yeah, that district, when I moved around, I realized that many of the people around the place, they are good consumers of pork, and many of them interest themselves a lot in eating pork. You will get surprised that one person can go to a pork joint and orders a kilo. One person, you get it. And it becomes so much interesting. And you realize that there's a lot and high consumption of this kind of meat. So that is one of the key things that interested me. And then the other one is that when I moved around the place, there are a lot of pork joints, but however, you realize that some of them miss out on certain days in that they do not have the supply of these pigs, in that many of them take time trying to look for them because of the high consumption. Some, you realize that in some particular pork joints, they can even slaughter like 3 in a day. So, and yet there is not an adequate supply of this kind of meat. So that is the first priority which I considered when I was beginning this kind of project. Then secondly, what interested me most, when I sat down, I looked around the place. Of course, being a Mastercard scholar, we are all encouraged to give back to our communities. So I looked around the place and I realized that there are many and many teenage boys and girls around my place that need this kind of help, which I have got in. So being a Mastercard scholar, with the fact that we are required, it's one of the necessities to give back to the communities around. So I looked around and I thought of how can I help to engage people around with the small resources that I have got through Mastercard. How can I give them back to the community? So I became so much passionate to see that I can at least create some change within the area, the locality where I come from. So that's one of the things that geared me up, that made me step out, say, let me get something started back there at home, so that these people can be occupied. They can get something that can help them, buy books, buy scholastic materials, such that they can also get, at least be educated somewhere, somehow. So that is one of the things, again, that I considered. Then, sadly, I also considered like these pigs having this kind of ability to grow fast. As long as you give them proper care, they can actually yield in a short run. That's what I can assure many of our listeners. I can assure you, if you give proper care to these pigs, and of course, as I highlighted earlier on, that you need to get a good breed that can grow in a short time. So it is not all about piggery farming, like you just going for any breed, but I have encouraged that you get a proper and a right breed that can grow in a short run and yield, with the fact that these pigs, they are so much demanding. So you need to get something that you invest something, okay, though you invest a little bit much, but at the end of it all, when they give back to you, you receive in plenty, and then you are able to cover up. So ensure that as you begin up, you interest yourself in beginning with the right breed. So that's how I had to begin it. I think with the beginning, it was not all that easy, with the fact that there are other necessities to meet as a student, but then with the fact that I had to give back to the community, I had to ensure that I do proper saving of the small stipend that I always receive, to ensure that I support those people back home, that they also do something. They always say that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So many of these people were just idle. So I had to ensure that I create something that they can be engaged in doing. Some also decide, I give them what I can, tell them let's mobilize. Of course, with pigs, they eat a variety of things. In fact, the pig is something that eats a variety, ranging from meat, vegetables. I eat a lot of things, actually. So, but however, for simplicity, I had to also ensure that there is some maize grown in certain places. I mean, like we had some gardens that we could grow some kind of maize, such that when they get this maize, we get a maize bran out of it. Then the people get a portion, and then the maize bran is taken to raise the pig, such that the cost is a little bit like cut down.
So you studied bachelor's degree in biomedical laboratory technology, and you are also doing a project in piggery, and those two are not really related that much.
Yes.
So how is the transition like for you?
Like in this life, there is a lot of diversity. And once you as a person, if you cannot afford to cope up with the life's diversity, then you may find it hard to live. So as a person, I like to also venture in business, as well as also serve at the same time. So that's why I had to divide my priorities to also prioritize having such kind of projects, as well as also pushing on the medical side of it. Though they do not resonate as much, but as long as there is something that can yield support, that's all we need.
And that's good, because it tells people that they don't have to be chained to whatever it is that they're studying, and they can just go out there and explore.
Exactly.
I like the impact that you're creating around your community, and the way you see giving back as an opportunity for you to also help people around your community. And
yes,
I like the fact that please proceed.
Maybe something to highlight, to highlight on still that kind of project, that many of the people around, they're getting interested in that. Earlier on in those days, many of them used to keep these local breeds that take even 3 years and something, when they have not yet given them anything, but you get it. So as of now, people are getting interested in that. They see that, like, the ideology that we have to cope up with in this kind of project, in that you have to get a right breed, and that's when you can have something that can yield back in a short run. So many people around my place, like now, as I told you, that there are some which are bust. So they interest themselves in coming to acquire such kind of breed that grows very fast. So many of them are starting to venture into this kind of projects.
That's good. And at least they have someone who can guide them. Because you have
Yeah,
been doing
exactly.
your research and you understand how the product works like and how you can best maximize impact.
Yes.
That is amazing.
To the people out there, I would like to encourage them that as you study, you realize that there are some people, some students in particular, who just like they narrow themselves to studies. And yet at this level that we are university, this is the kind of level that should also like prepare you very well to the outside world. So you realize that there are some students who just mind to only study. No, as a student of at the university level, someone needs to ensure that they also like diversify away from studies, at least be doing something that can help you carry on as you finish your university studies. So I really encourage everyone that if you are in a good position to begin this kind of project, it's really something that is good. It can yield back. This one I can assure you, in that you realize that these pigs that when they birth, they burst to like a big number. Some of them can even give to 12 and above. So by the time they burst to like 12 young ones, like one big giving burst to 12 young ones, you realize that maybe each young one, you sell it maybe even, it depends on the breed. You can sell it at 150 and above. That is now in Ugandan shilling. So at that kind of rate, I can probably say that this kind of project is yielding as long as you give them your mind, you give them a passion, their desire. Ideally, they will not disappoint.
Ideally, they will not disappoint. And it seems like you're really passionate about the project you're working on. And you have identified a problem and you have identified a market and who your customers are going to be. So that's really good, and also helps people to understand some of the things they need to figure out before they get into business. Thank you so much, Godfrey.
Thank you.
This was an amazing conversation, and I learned a lot about pigs and piggery.
Yeah. Thank you so much for engaging me.